Hey traders, Raghee here, and the question I have for you guys for this recap video is, what do financials have to do with anything? Well, a lot when you think about what's happening with the S&P, the Dow, and the Russell. So I'm going to take you on over to this sector watch list that I use. It lets me do two things. One, I can gauge the different sectors that are in play for each one of the larger index futures contracts, S&P, NASDAQ, Dow, which you can see along the left side here. And then I also can watch the sectors by way of their most popular or one of the more popular ETFs. So I can take an interesting move in a sector and also have a corresponding trade in the ETF. And this is a fantastic way to sort of open up futures to related markets and just, as I like to say, open up the playground, right? I don't want to spend all day on the swing. There's a swing, there's a seesaw, there's a slide, there's a jungle gym. It's all there. It's all on the playground. And once you understand how they all work together, like I said, make the market your playground. It also keeps your pipeline full so you can cherry pick from the best opportunities. So one of the better opportunities that I've been watching, and this was one that I was looking at last week. I was sitting down with a group of simpler trading folks out in St. Simons Island, Georgia. And one of the things we talked about was XLF. And the thing I liked about XLF was the fact that we had a fundamental catalyst. That was round 2 of the bank stress tests. So after the second round, depending upon how the report card was looking, there's a pretty good chance that we would find a floor or maybe even upward momentum after the worst news was technically behind the market. And what I was looking for are all these Darvis levels acting as potential support. Now remember, unlike other types of support and resistance, Darvis levels before had to be support and resistance. That's why the turning points to draw the lines of the box are even there. They're not projections. They were actually at one time or another a minor high or a minor low. So we have a proven bid or offer stacking up, creating that floor or ceiling. So that's what I'll use to identify the zone. So all this is automated with the Simpler Trading Darvis, which by the way is a free tool. So then I use this time-tested tool that was created in the 60s with a modern day twist. And I identify around this 26.5, even 2680 area. We were looking specifically 2685, 2655 to start to look at some sort of support to where we look for more movement to the upside. Now, Goldman Sachs and Morgan Stanley, they didn't do so well on their report card. That is until today, probably 30 minutes into the close, the FOMC comes and gives them a lifeline and says, you know, we're gonna kind of give you a pass. That's kind of the short story of it all. And immediately the XLF started moving up off this floor that you can see here, what I would view as an oversold floor. Well, unless you're looking at the way these sectors affect the index futures that you're trading, and if you're wondering what on earth happened about 315 in the S&P, in the Russell, in the Dow. Now, I'm omitting the NASDAQ from this because the NASDAQ doesn't have any consequential financials weighting. It's number 1 in the Russell, right? It's number 2 and 3 when you look at weighting in the S&P and the Dow. Again, look at the sector watch list. Number 2 on the S&P, number 3 on the Dow. It's number 1 on the Russell. So XLF takes off, it's going to take those index futures with it, barring other sectors dragging it down. And it also gives us confirmation of the XLF buy that I've been looking at for the better part of about 2 weeks now. Finally seeing the catalyst post that bank stress test, and it's going to give our Dow, our S&P, and our Russell another push to the upside as that sector strengthens and doesn't act like the weight that it's been. So that's something to keep an eye on here in the coming days. And if you want to know also what kind of names are going to move with the XLF, think Berkshire, think JP Morgan, Bank of America, Citi, Wells Fargo. There's a number of names to watch along with it. And this is a great way to open up the market. XLF to S&P to Dow to Russell, and then those individual stock names. So think about the market as a playground, and I'll see you in the next update.